Okay, let's roll, as they say. Let's roll. Let's roll. What's on the plan today? I don't need this. I'll need this. And this. And we'll need this. So you know where this is going today. Thursday morning. Okay, here we are. Good. Let's get rolling. We have, should have called this a show and tell. It's not a show. There's some prints here this morning, just arrived from Kanai-san, Chiharu-san, one of our printers. She lives in Nagano. This is the girl who was working here 3 years ago, so got pregnant. And now she works in her own home in Nagano Prefecture. And she's doing currently for us the latest reprint of the Mystique series of prints. And these are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to put the embossing on. At the moment they have an empty space. We've talked about this before, you've seen them before. Really super delicate printing, all we see there. The prints themselves are just crazy delicate. And then look at this gradation. I'm so proud of this. Beautiful, beautiful. Lots of empty space. Beautiful embossing on the prints. These will be cut apart, of course. This is print number 3 in the series. This is print number 4. And today my job is to put our embossing in the bottom here. And this stuff is so beautiful. These are the most beautiful prints we've ever made. Colors so delicate you can't even see where they go. I mean, look at the rain. This one was reproduced from the Favorite Flowers book of Hasegawa, published back in 1902. Okay, so my job today is to put the embossing on it. It might take me all morning here, or it makes it sound like you're working at Mokusan calls the praise. We've got 4 now. Last week I told you about this. I said there's 3 of them. There is now 4 of the Mokuhankan team. They're going to be knocked out with printing. I'm not counting Ami-san. Ami-san is back. She started printing upstairs. She's finished. Kanai-san is back. She's working. I'm not counting them. There's 4 more that are now pregnant. And it is not just whatever. I can't believe this is happening to us. Okay, the in tray is there, the workspace is here, the out tray is above me there. Let's get the space figured out here. I'll leave my paper is out. Yes, thank you. Paper is out. The baby thing, I wonder if that's part of it. We take care of people well here. We pay them as well as we can. It's not the best pay in the world, but we're paying people as well as we can, honestly and fairly. And maybe that's all you need, a nice happy job and normal pay. The way they go, I don't know. Of the 4, there's only one that I'm supposed to talk about. Marcela-san, the Mexican girl. She's been here on a Wednesday crew. She's going to have a baby in April, and she's visible, so everybody knows about her now. The other 3, as far as I know, there's been no public announcement made. People have told me about it because we can help plan our business and stuff. But the other 3, there's been no public announcement yet. So. But 4 of them now. God. Okay, let's get going. Well, somebody asked me about the paper out before we even started the stream this morning, so it's become a thing, hasn't it? Why don't you ask me now for Saturday? Saturday stream, ask me, is the paper out? Should I answer yet? All right, let's roll. You know how this works. you know how this works. I've got the embossing here, Jushiban polymer plate. I slightly moisten the paper in that area. In she goes. And on goes our name. And there we are. There's two barren marks. It faces each way. This one faces that way. This one faces this way. I think it can move up a little bit without any. So there we go. Okay. All right, as I said, let's roll. Just before the stream started, I got an email from Cameron that said that the trains were delayed at his getting on stop. It's funny, this is not good advertising for Japan. You know, Japan's trains are supposed to be gloriously on time. But that's not his line. His line seems to have specific traffic. It's a relatively newer train line. It was set up, I don't know, it's been planned for many, many years. It started at service, I guess, 6 or 7 years ago, I guess, fairly new. But it seems to be chronically having trouble in the mornings, in the rush hours. So anyway, he may be late this morning, we'll see. And show and tell, show and tell, show and tell. I know we do have a show and tell, but I need Cameron's help for it. And what it is, it's a continuation of the show and tell from the previous stream. Those of you who were here on, what day was it? Today's Thursday, it must have been Monday's stream. We had a bit of a chaotic show. I had a very large wood block that we had bought on Yahoo Auctions some years back. And we tried to show it on Monday, but it was so big it was difficult to get the thing visually into the camera. And we also talked about what I was going to use that piece of wood for, that whether we were going to shave it down and make it for new prints, or whether we were going to keep it as an antique because it had antique interest. And I read the stream later. There's lots of conversation both ways. There are some people who vigorously believe we should never spoil blocks like that. There's two ways to think about it. There are an awful lot of such things. There's not really much research value in stuff like that. But anyway, having said that, what we did was, because we had opened it up and had a look at it on Monday, later that evening, Monday evening, after the shop was closed, Watabayashi-sama, she's the lady who was here for print buy stuff on Monday. Monday evening, she and I got that block onto the print party bench and we printed it up. We printed it. It's not fair for me to go ahead and think about, cutting it down or destroying it or reusing it or whatever without knowing more about it and what it is. We're not really stupid about these things. People will maybe thinking, Dave's just crapping around destroying antiques. We are careful with this stuff. We make sure that we understand what things are. Anyway, long story short, we printed it on the print party bench. It took two of us. we found some long paper, and it took two of us, and it took us like 5 or 10 minutes to get it warmed up because it was an old, clunky, crusty. There was thick, rich, black sumi full of Nikawa glue, slopped all over it. The last people who printed it really printed it with this jet black, gluey stuff. So we didn't actually have to put any pigment on. We just had to put some water on, soak it up, get a couple of brushes, swirl around. Anyway, long story short, we printed it. And it turns out that, the thing isn't a wonderful, glorious antique, but it is really interesting. It's really a cool image. And there's lots of things to talk about, the content of the image. So it looks interesting enough that there's no way, we're not gonna plane it down. We're gonna keep that block. And whatever, when you see, we'll show you the print at the end, the show and tell today, we'll show you the print and chat about it. And whether people will actually want to buy it or not, I don't know. But it's something we may actually put into the shop. Because there's this little bit of historical interest on things. We'll talk about it later when Cameron gets it. We'll put it up. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Actually, too, speaking of old blocks, the last few days I got a whole bunch of new blocks, new old blocks. As I told you, I follow them on the local auctions all the time. And some very interesting ones also came up, and I did just receive them yesterday afternoon. Some of you may know the old surimono genre. Surimono in general in Japanese just means printed things, and it's a word that is sometimes just used for anything that's in our world. Any woodblock printed stuff is called surimono in a generic form. But the word surimono has a specific sub-meaning. There was a genre of prints, a group of woodblock prints produced back in the 1800s. I think they started, 1830s, 1840s or something, and they petered out at the end of the 1800s. It was made by poetry groups, people who had poetry groups, and they had the custom quite often at the end of the year of having a woodblock print made that had a selection of their poetry on it, anywhere from 3 or 4 or 5 to sometimes 20 or 100 in some rare cases of their poems carved onto a long strip of paper with some small delicate imagery. And the genre was called surimono. I made a reproduction of a bunch of them when I made my surimono albums back in the early part of the 2000s. Anyway, the day a couple of woodblocks came up on Yahoo auctions, and the guy had no idea what they were. He just dumped them up there. Nobody did, I think. I don't remember. I got them cheap, but it turns out they are surimono blocks. This is a wonderful, wonderful, delicate carving of a whole bunch of poetry, along with a really tiny little topical image. And some of these blocks look to be in good condition, so I think actually these are going to be things that we can put into our shop once we get it organized. So perhaps later this week, on the next show and tell, we'll pull out some of these blocks and show. Zoom in again, have a look at it. You can see it there clearly, actually. There's the embossing. You can't probably read it from that far. It's a barren mark with the words Mokuhan Kan. That one reads this way. And this one reads this way because the print will be cut apart. One of these prints is horizontal, one is vertical. The other thing I have to do with these prints after I finish putting these embossing ones, every one of them, one by one, has to go under the microscope. And I've got to pull out the bark and stuff, and there's lots and lots of bits of tree bark. I started doing this last night, actually. The first 20 or 30 of these are already cleaned. Because there's so much white space in images like this, it's really any tiny bit of tree bark just shows up and spoils it. I tried the bamboos, the barons that use the polycord. I'm not quite sure what you mean by polycord. In the print party room here, we use Goto-san's, what he calls murasaki barons. They're the literally purple baron, murasaki baron. We use those all the time. In fact, it's covered up. I think that's what I'm using now. I think this is a murasaki baron. I stole this from the party room. I know the cord inside the murasaki baron is a strong purple color. It's really, really hard. He dips it in glue or something. And we don't use those upstairs in our regular work because we like the touch and feel of a real home baron. But for students, they're fantastic. And for everyday rough and ready use, they're great. if I had nothing else here but Goto-san's student Murasaki barons, we could make prints just fine. We prefer the real home baron, of course. So for somebody just starting out, there's no way you should spend $1,000 or whatever on a real baron. It's just pointless, absolutely pointless. We say polychords, I'm not sure what you're meaning. I don't know what you mean. There are some student barons out there that are made with string inside, and they are just absolutely, totally frustratingly useless. String just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't have the power. It just collapses under the pressure of the work. That's the first group. We're down to this white sheet, and that's the first group that I had checked for chili yesterday. This next group, I'll just continue. This group hasn't been checked yet for, maybe you can see there's going to be spots in here. I've got to pull out bark on some of these. A few other things to report on. I know video production is on underway. The next couple of videos. There's many people have been asking us when's the next videos coming, what's going on, what's going on. There's 3 videos at the moment coming together. Probably the first one will be out past the post. There's my next video. It's just going to be a grab bag, an announcement. We have to put the announcement up of next year's series. Talk about Ami-san coming back, the gift friends. There's a bunch of stuff that has to be announced and talked about. So the next video should be up. It'll be a short announcement video sometime next few days. Then after that, Cameron is now doing video. He's working with Dei-chan upstairs. We did a video a few months ago. Cameron went to Sugi-san's bench and they went step by step through one of Jed's prints this year, the Japan Journey prints. And it was about a 15-minute video showing all the steps together with scans, whatever. He's working on a video like that right now with Dei-chan. The print Dei-chan's making. She's making a print of a tea bowl. I think we chatted about this on stream a couple of weeks ago. She's making a print of a tea bowl that appeared in my Cinnamon albums, number 4 or 5. I forget which one. 5. And so there'll be a step-by-step video coming up of the production of that one. And it's filming right now. She's partway through the process. And once it's filming, Cameron will put it together. I'll do a voiceover and away we go. And then the third video after that is my beginnings, part 3. I know that's been a really popular series, according to the video count and comments. And it's time to do part 3, talking about how Dave became a printmaker. And those 3, I think, should be out before the end of the year, I guess. Beginnings part 3. How long can we go before we can't call them beginnings anymore? Obviously, I think probably this is the end of it, I think. I don't know. I was originally thinking when I did those that beginnings 1 and beginnings 2 would be the end of it, because at the end of number 2, that's where I started the poet series, which is when my hobby changed to a real job. So that's the end of the beginnings thing, I guess. But I don't know, whatever. think I'll keep the same title just so we can keep the thread running. We'll see. Can't get enough of this, just so cool. It's hard to believe this is woodblock work, it's so delicate, it looks like a gentle watercolor painting. This is actually a woodblock print. Just fades away to nothing. Blend, eh? She's done a really, really beautiful job on us. Gradations. Oh no, these aren't auction blocks. I carved these. This is my own set. I carved and printed these myself. I didn't print this one. This is the set I set out back in, I don't even know when I did this. This is 2011, 2010, I don't remember. Somebody can do it. If you go to woodblock.com/mystique, this is the set of prints I made back then. woodblock.com/mystique. Over the period of a year and a half, I produced this 18-issue print set. I printed them, I carved and printed them in pairs. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 5, 6, I think, or number 3 and 4. I can't even remember. 5 and 6 maybe, I don't remember. So what you're seeing is some of the originals. They were designs taken from all over the place. I carved them and printed 200 copies of each. Set was a subscription series back in those days. And now we're using the same blocks now. And our staff members are printing them. This particular pair was printed by Chihara-san, Chiharu Kawai. But she's not doing a whole set, so... There's no link to here. I think it's here. This one. That's the link, I think, to the original ones. You can't buy them from that website. Now they're all over on our Mocha Hong Kong website. What am I rubbing on the paper before I emboss it? Moisture. I've got a little wet rag here. Smooth rag, just got some moisture on it. And I'm just putting this part here where the embossing is going to go. I'm touching it tinily, just touching it to the damp rag. So this is now very, very slightly damped. It helps the embossing bite a little bit. And helps make it strong. As the paper dries, the embossing sets a bit more carefully. Can't make it too wet or it'll just go soggy and the embossing crushes the paper. Just got to be a tiny bit damp. And ideally, this embossing should have been done at the same time that the outer embossing was done. And the reason they weren't carved together is that when I made this print myself, it was a different embossing that went here. I had my own personal studio Baron mark. It was just a Baron mark with no lettering in the middle. And that was carved on these blocks. That's what I did back years ago. But now that we're putting them out as a different edition, that's been carved off those blocks. And now we're using a polymer plate for the Mokohankan edition. So somewhere out in the world, there's 200 copies of each of these prints with my own embossment. And I signed each print made by Dave, blah, blah, blah. There's 200 of those out there in the world somewhere. And this is now the ongoing open edition from Mokohankan. We're about halfway through here. No, not museums, just normal people. I don't think there's any of my stuff like that in a museum at all. No. Just normal people subscribe to my stuff, that's all. Museums don't look at this sort of thing, not at all. Here's an example of bark. Now, if you can see it, I've got to go through these things one by one still and get the bark. Well, it's not so bad. It's okay. I can maybe leave it. But when they're up in here, out in the white, there's no way. They have to come out. What is Dave doing? It says there. Dave is putting the embossing on a group of prints that have been freshly made by one of our printers here. Wherever possible, we put our name on our prints. The larger Ukiyo Heroes prints, because they have a space and a margin, they get embossed with the name of the carver and printer. Smaller prints like this, which don't really have room for it, don't get the carver and printer's name. That would sort of spoil the print. But we do have space down in the corner for our, what would you call it, a studio mark. why don't I get the bark out first? Actually, that's what I was doing. I started the bark last night, and I originally tried to get through it last night. But for me to sit here and do bark is less fun, I think, than doing the embossing, so it doesn't really matter. Some people ask, why don't we take the bark out before we make the prints? And the worst sheets don't use them. And it's just too difficult to do that. You're not really sure where the bark is going to appear. Like, for example, I don't know if you can see this one here. This looks okay from the front. On the back, you can see maybe there's a huge, big black thing there. And if I put the print down on a darker surface, it doesn't show. But when the print is in its mount, we send them on backboards. And when the print is placed on the backboard, the dark bark on the back of the print now shows through the front. So even when the bark is on the back, we have to get in there and dig it off. Do I live in Japan? You're talking to me? Do I live in Japan? Yes, we are broadcasting from Tokyo, as it says up at the top right-hand corner here. At the moment, this stream is coming from Asakusa in Tokyo. It's 8:32 in the morning here. A nice sunny winter day, or autumn winter day. And just for fun, if you want to Google the place that we are, our address is this. It's Tokyo, Taitoku, Asakusa. That's the address of the shop that we're in right now on this stream. Do I speak fluid Japanese? I speak Japanese enough to get by. I've been here 30 odd years now. I am not a master of the language in any way whatsoever. But yeah, of course, after 34 years, no problem. Although it's funny, the language thing, because I've never learned in school, because I've learned my language and whatever just by living and hanging around and living in a quite restrictive world about prints and stuff. There's sort of lots of words that should be known that I've never heard of. I mean, my language is okay for communicating, but because I haven't studied through the lists of kanji, which like kids do one by one, they go through the list learning all the kanji. I've never done that, so there's lots of actual words that I've never heard of. It comes up in conversation sometimes, which I tell me blah 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 blah, and I'll tip my head sideways. What's that? And they're like, "How can you not know that?" But whatever. There's lots and lots and lots of language that I don't know. So. How many have we got her? I think there's about 90 sheets here. I'm not really quite sure. I don't know. I think I gave her 80 or 90 sheets in a batch. She may have spoiled half a dozen or so. I don't know. We don't count so carefully. Remember, these are not limited editions. We're just making another batch of prints. When they get low, we make another batch of prints. And this is a subscription set. And people subscribe and sometimes have to cancel. And things go up and things go down. So we end up having not exactly the same number of each prints in stock. So when it comes time to reprint, maybe last month she did 70 of each of that pair. This month she did 80 of each of this pair. I don't know. I'm getting through it. It'll be another 10 minutes here, and then I'll move on to the next job. Once again, people keep joining. I have to keep explaining again what's going on. We're embossing the prints here. Here is the before. We've got some prints that are made by our printers. The color printing part is done. The flower embossing part is done, but there's a space at the bottom here that's empty. This is the before. I have a polymer plate with our Baron Studio mark built onto it, and I'm now embossing that onto our paper. These will be cut in half after I do this, and this will be sent to subscribers of our series. This is what's called the Mystique of the Japanese Print series. It's lots of people are subscribing to it, and this is how we make them. This is the last step in the making. And this really could have been done by the printer, but it ends up being on my desk. The thing is, different printers are doing this series. This pair was done by Chiharu-san. The next pair is going to be done by Yamamoto-san. He works at home over in his own home. So we would have to keep sending this block around town back and forth and back and forth. So we just leave it here on my desk. I can do it. I've got to check all the prints anyway. I've got to pull out the bark anyway. So it's just another step for me to do. You know, all the colors that you see here on this paper, one of these is green tone and one is a slight lilac tone. Those are printed, of course. This thing starts out as a blank white sheet of paper. And all the colors that you see on it are printed from wood blocks. So we have, to get that background, for example, there's 2 wood blocks. One wood block has the registration marks and the green area, and a totally separate wood block has registration marks and the lilac area. They're not printed together, they're too close. We could never rub color on 2 printing areas that are that close together. So this yellow and the lilac are just printed as a separate color from blocks. And there's a bit of a touch and go thing on that, which we didn't mention before. If you imagine this block, okay, she's got a piece of wood, we've carved it for that shape, she prints the blue gradation. She can use quite firm power. We want a good, deep, rich color. When it comes to printing this lilac color, if we wanted to print this in really deep color, we get a problem. Because to print it as a deep color, the paper would become totally, absolutely flat. Right here, the paper's flat. Out here, the paper still has body. Here, the paper is gently pressed. And if we wanted a deep, rich color, we get a problem because there would be no paper depth left to make an embossing. So that's why we keep the color around the outside of these things fairly light. She prints them with a light touch and doesn't really go for a deep effect. And that means there's still body enough in the paper left to have this embossing. Well, it's all cherry wood. Everything here is cherry wood. People are talking about 3D printing. Yeah, it's out there. Fine. People go for it. Make some prints with 3D printing. It's great. We're not interested in doing that ourselves because we like carving. That's my job. But yeah, it would be certainly possible, perhaps at some point, to make blocks like this with 3D printing, I'm sure. The whole question of technology. Obviously, technology blew my job away more than 100 years ago. It's quite possible to print wonderful stuff in colors or blah, blah, blah over 100 years ago. But what our customers and collectors and fans want is something that these hands made. So I'm not worried about the other stuff. I hope lots of people will make interesting prints with the new technologies. What sort of fibers? It's all mulberry fiber. The fiber in Japanese is called kozo. The Western just generally call it paper mulberry. It's one of the plants in the mulberry family. I don't know the Latin name, but it's a paper mulberry. Very strong, very vigorous, very long lasting, resists oxidization, doesn't go brown like most modern pulp type papers do. It's one of the glories of creation. Just fabulous, fabulous stuff. In English, kozo, K-O-Z-O, it's kozo, actually it's long vowels, it's 4 vowels, kozo. I think, I can't quite remember actually, kozo. Again, I think, what is it, 15 or so left, 10 or so left, I can't quite see, hang on, almost finished here. Thanks for your patience with this. Someone's asking about music. Stringed instruments. I used to. I have a couple of guitars, classic guitars in the closet somewhere over home. No time for music these days, but yeah. Bunch of instruments hidden away, classic guitars. Saxophones, flutes, all remnants of days long gone by. What's that alert sound? I think it was an email from my daughter. Suka, just a kind of sec, nothing important. Suka. My daughter, we're going to give a Skype later on when I'm finished here. I hear sounds upstairs. People were coming up the stairs behind me. I think it's Suga-san. He's in this morning printing. Today it's going to be Suga-san and Rei-chan. Rei-chan's working on her tea bowl. And Suga-san's working still on the first print of next year's series. It's taking them time. It's a demon. It's a demon. Color after color after color. I think there's 12 or 13 colors. It's a demon. We're starting next year's series with a bang again. It's another night scene. And night scenes, of course, just means layer after layer after layer coming on. So. Oh, questions. Too many questions here. Hang on a sec. Questions. Favorite subjects? No, nothing like that. Just whatever's coming up. None of us here in this business have such things as favorite subjects. whatever's on your desk is the job that you got to do. Really, it's a thing. You're not allowed to have favorites, period. Favorites are for consumers. Favorites are not for producers. The GJ, I think the name is, I think it's going to be an animator's pilgrimage, I think. I've been using that as the name. I've made the web pages already. We call it now, we were calling it GJ, and I have switched to calling it AP myself, Animator's Pilgrimage. That's the current status. I've got to really nail it down soon, because once the video goes record button, that's it. That's the last chance. So. Do I make... We don't make barons here. Now, one of our girls, Ayumi-san, she also makes barons as a sideline, as a craftsman. But no, the barons we're using here, the tools we're using here are made by a professional, yes. We don't make these. We recover them. The bamboo skin is something we recover daily. The girls upstairs tie them on because this wears out. The bamboo covering of this wears out very quickly, so we replace that all the time ourselves. But the inner part of the tool, no, we didn't make this. Well, how much have I got left here? 3 or 4. Oops, just a minute. Well, I see she's got half and half. Okay. Soka. Now, this is not a wooden block. This is a piece of board. This is paper, cardboard, whatever. And taped onto it, I have a strong plastic embossing polymer plate. It's the kind of plate they use for offset printing. Time's 8:48. Cameron should be here, but he said he had a problem with his train, so who knows? He may be here any minute. He may not show. No idea. An animator's hindsight. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Looking backwards, so we're looking back to where they came from. I'm not quite sure if that makes sense. The animator's pilgrimage, of course, doesn't make sense either, because it's not the animator that's making the pilgrimage. We're the ones who are making the pilgrimage to where the animator was. So yeah, I get it. I'm not sure. One idea that was tossed around, in fact, on the stream here was an anime pilgrimage. And that makes more sense. We are making a pilgrimage to sites that appeared in anime. But there's a severe kind of question against that, in that a number of our current fans are not interested in gaming culture and pop culture. They like these prints because they are, quote, serious, real Japanese woodblock prints. And using the word anime is a turn-off to those people, because their view of the world of anime is the stupid short skirts and boobs and girls' voices and stuff, you know. Anime is a lot more than that, but that's the image of it out there. So. So, I get you. But it wasn't just a background artist. I mean, we have documentation. Miyazaki-san himself talks about visiting places and looking at these things. So he doesn't do the background paintings, of course, but he very much had a hand in what was going on here. But yeah, I get your point. You know, it's not his pilgrimage; it's our pilgrimage. So. So as I said, I'm still open to suggestions. If a wonderful suggestion drops onto the table here, I'll jump all over it. Okay, last 2 sheets. The light and flask deal, it's partly historical. I could use a strip light in front of the bench to light it, it would be fine. I don't like stuff like that. A light on a flask here gives me a nice, beautiful, soft glow over the bench. There we are, we're finished. The practical reason for this stuff, it makes no sense today doing this embossing, but when I am carving, the practical purpose of this flask, the light is behind it, shines through, and then when I'm carving, the carving knife has a minimal shadow because the light is diffused from different directions. So when I'm carving, there's no strong shadow of the blade to get in the way of the line. That's the basic root reason behind using this flask. Okay, this is done. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, look who's here. I am just finished this very moment. I'm finished the embossing.
All right.
Now I've got to go through and get busy on the chitty. Just in time. Train trouble this morning, you said.
Yeah, but it ended up not being as late as I thought it was going to be. But we sat for a little while at the station and they just kept making announcements. There's delays, the train tank inspections.
Yeah. Was there an earthquake up there?
Not that I noticed, so I don't know what it was about, but I made it.
Those boxes, that's for you, by the way. Those are Hunger Club stands, which the girls made yesterday.
All right.
We've got a few for stock. The rest can go upstairs. And next time we run out of stock, they'll hit you for the first.
Perfect.
And then when they start to get low there, you've got to hit me or I must have to make some more.
Okay.
Then there's some tracking stuff for you. Also on top of the box there.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's asked, what's this? Are you a celebrity in Japan? No, in this room. I'm a minor celebrity in this room. When I walk out on the street, nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who I am. I get stopped now and then on the street. The other day I went to lunch and somebody stopped. Oh, it's a foreigner. You're the YouTube guy. So, but from Japanese people, no, I am not a celebrity at all. I am totally safe. We're still batting around the idea about the name of the series,
Oh, yeah.
This thing that I've been playing with an animator's pilgrimage. It's not the animator that's making a pilgrimage. It's us who are making a pilgrimage. So it doesn't... So I don't know. I don't know. What do we do? FaceTime camera down, this camera up. Okay, over to you. You can do as you wish. I've got this stuff. There's tons of new people here, so you have to introduce yourself.
Hello, new people. I think we've got... You can let the robot introduce me.
What?
Does that work? Yeah! Woohoo!
Is it out of date, or does it make any sense?
That still says, Cameron answers your emails and generally helps out around Mokahankan.
Generally helps out. The guy who comes in on Friday afternoons to clean up or something.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
That's right.
Does it need updating? I don't know.
No, I think it's right.
No.
Cam shaved again. Yes, I buzzed my hair short again.
Once a year, whether he needs it or not. So. Same as Dave. I think somebody asked a while ago on the stream. I didn't get a chance to answer it. Why the fingernails keep growing or something?
Don't everyone's? No.
But I mean, I don't know. It's just the hair, the fingernails. They just don't stop. They won't stop.
They won't stop for you.
I chop this, I chop that, and days later it's
all back.
All back. It could be worse if they didn't come. I don't know idea if I'm on stream or not. Here, let me try and get the camera. We're going to do a bit of chitty-totty here. But I can't see the screen. The camera's on, I'm not sure where
Yeah,
I should
here.
be looking at that point.
Did the video upload? I feel like I ran into trouble with the upload. The one last night. I tried to send.
Oh, so the 720.
Yeah,
I pulled
that one
down.
worked to the 1080 crashed or something?
Is it the same thing, right?
Yeah, it was the same thing. I just wasn't sure which one. Okay, great.
No, I think what happened is you sent me your email,
Yeah.
and I clicked on it, and you were still actually uploading.
Oh,
I didn't
so it wasn't
realize
done
that.
yet.
I think that's what, because I got a 0
Got it.
kilobytes thing first. So,
Something's
back to
wrong.
the email.
Yeah.
He's still doing it, so I'll
Yeah.
keep out of the way.
Oh, okay.
So you can chat about that. The show and tell are coming up. In
Yeah.
fact, we'll need like 15 minutes for it or something. So keep an eye on the time here.
I didn't make a 15-minute video.
No, I mean, we
to
gotta
tell
talk
about what
the
it
block
is.
and
Yeah.
The print is over there.
Yeah.
And,
But we've got short video while he's doing this. Or not, we're not going to watch it while you're doing it. But I mean, took a short video that the block, when was that? Was that Monday you
yeah, it was the last stream
introduced it?
Monday.
Yeah.
So we were introducing a large block on Monday.
Yeah.
And,
So people who saw that, I think will be interested to see what's
yeah, I was telling
become
you
of
what I
it.
said. So we tried
Yeah.
printing it, Wadabash and I, on Monday evening
Yeah.
after the stream. I know some of the reaction from people on the stream had made me a tad nervous. I know
Yeah.
all the time we get old blocks. What's that? Shut down. 頭気をつけてください。
ありがとうございます。すみません、気をつけてます。
はい。
Michinan.
It's
Wood, right?
Aoyama-san, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So you're saying I tried printing it, and so I took a few videos as I did several impressions, but I just used one of them. And a couple of pictures too.
Yeah, and there was discussion on the stream whether I should use that block to chop it up and to make new prints with, or whether we should preserve it. And there's both viewpoints going back and forth. And I hadn't been really impressed with that piece of wood. You know. As a piece of wood, I really, really wanted to use it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too impressed with the image. It was a very cheap, quick and dirty job.
Yeah.
Nothing of any historical interest. But after printing it, you know, we had fun printing it, and
Yeah.
the image is actually fun, and it's nothing of historical importance, but it is interesting and fun. So Aoyama-san looked at it and print and talked about it, and we'll be keeping the block. We won't be shading it down. You know?
Yeah.
I think on things like that are marginal, if we do destroy too many of those blocks, there will be a backlash against us. You know, what are you doing destroying all things? I get it. I understand that. And we don't want to get a reputation as people who are destroying our culture, you know, as much as we are, of course, trying to preserve it. But having said that, though, we're going to keep this block. But in the old days, meaning certainly up to pre-war, whatever, they could care less. Once a print is made, if they're going to make, you know, the customer has ordered some prints and away it goes and it's done, that wood block is now a resource. And it will be planed down and used again for the next job that comes in the door. And once it's too thin to do that, chop it up, throw it in the stove. All these workshops were heated by a drum stove, you know, Maki stove. So it's a resource to be used. None of the old shops in any way whatsoever kept any of this stuff. Yeah. You couldn't. There's just too many blocks. My house in Ome
Has a couple of blocks.
How many? There's 4 floors, and each floor now is jammed with blocks in every corner and every shelf. You know?
Yeah.
And for a printing company, there's no way. It's of no interest whatsoever to keep that stuff around. So.
But in that case, even right now, Reichan is printing some blocks
of
that
course,
haven't been touched in a while.
Yes, this is our long tail business.
Yeah.
Stuff that we carve a set of blocks, take a bunch of prints, and then put the blocks away to reprint again. As is going on right now with the Yoshida prints and Hasui prints and Zadori prints, stuff like that. So as long as there's demand for that product, it becomes a useful resource.
Yeah.
Of course you keep it.
Yeah.
But once demand for that image is gone, then the block just becomes a burden. Something that's just in the way.
Yeah. I wonder if back in the day they used 2 printers as well. What do you think with a print that size? Did They just go really fast. One person.
Well, my guess, I mean, we used 2 the other day because actually we were just trying it and it wasn't warmed up well.
Yeah.
If I were doing an edition, if you got 100 sheets of paper ready, the first few sheets are difficult because the block is so dry and you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
But once you get going on it, once the block is warmed up,
Yeah.
you have a bit more time with each sheet because it's not drying in front of you, it's not drying under you. And also you've learned where to rub and where not to rub. That would be completely printable by one person.
Yeah.
This is not some massive, oh my God, how are we going to do this?
Bring out the steamroller.
Yeah, no, it's quite doable. But yesterday, as a quick and dirty run-up on a very, very dry block, and in fact, as you'll see in this video that Cameron took on Monday evening of us doing that, we barely made it in time because that block is drying out so fast. So fast. And when you'll see the paper being pulled off the block, and it's stuck to the block. What's on your name? Sun, small plane.
Yeah.
Don't hear any of that stuff in Tokyo.
Sure, it's not the air conditioner down the street.
Sounds like an airplane going on.
It does.
Out in the west, where your quarter base is, we hear planes all the time, but over central Tokyo, they're not permitted.
Yeah. Tom 1060 mentions ideas for the series or upcoming series.
Pretty much.
The word pilgrimage sounds distant and far-fetched to my ears. If I needed to express a recollection of an animator, I'd use something more like an animator's hindsight or recollection or something similar.
Well, hindsight is a bit different. I think that means looking back.
Yeah.
I wish I had better hindsight or something. As if you made a mistake and you want to fix it. Recollection or nostalgia or something, I think is okay. It's closer. So an animator's recollections would make more sense because it's him or he and his crew who have been there at one point, made the anime, and then come back to look at it. So I get that. So, yeah. But we do like the word pilgrimage. Here we are. We are the fans. We're the fans who are making the pilgrimage. So the problem with the word pilgrimage to me, other than the religious implications, the problem with pilgrimage is it's not the animator who's doing it. It's us who are doing it. So how do we show that sign that we are making a pilgrimage to these places, and yet how do we show the topic? Like the first one we had, anime pilgrimage, made sense, but it has that real bad downside of having the wrong words stuck at the front.
Yeah.
So we have got to think about this a bit more carefully before we go live, like tomorrow or whenever we're going live. So yeah, keep shooting them at me. I think at some point somebody's going to go, that's it. We could roll back. Last year was a Japan journey. Or we could just simply, this is a series.
Japan Journey 2.
No, because it's not all in Japan. And it's also, there's a theme to it. So we picking up on the word journey.
Yeah.
That was a Japan journey. Is this an animator's journey?
Yeah.
Again, I'm just thinking out loud. I wouldn't. And that way the series are, it's a series of journeys. Next year we pick up something else and away we go.
Wow, bark can get in the paper. I imagined it was all stripped before it came to pulping. Indeed, that's the intention. That
in pulping, which what you mean?
Yes. Blending it all up.
There should be, ideally there should be no bark in here. It's not practical in real life to get it all out. Our problem is in recent years there is rather a lot of it in here because it's an extremely difficult, time-consuming job for the papermaker.
Yeah.
They're short-staffed. They're trying to keep their costs down. And the result for us is
this.
Yeah. Some of these are not so bad, and some of them, oh my God, I've got some great waves by the side of my desk here. Yeah. Oh. Luckily, we have this microscope and a very sharp knife, and I am developing quite a skill at being a surgeon. Anybody need brain surgery? Come on over. We're cheap.
Just tell me where to poke.
haven't got an aesthetic thing worked out yet, but that's not so important, is it?
Nah. So that large block, summer printing would have been a challenge even for an experienced printer. Using that large block if it were only one printer. In the summer, wouldn't that be even more challenging because it's dry? Or no, I guess it's
summer's down here in Japan. Winter's the problem in Japan.
Yeah.
Damp climates for us they help us to keep the paper moist, to keep the block moist.
Yeah.
You know. Our trouble comes when it's too dry.
Got it.
Well, Maria-san, a friend of mine in America, she lives in Las Vegas, and she tried to do this stuff. And
So
just
dry there.
to be kidding, whatever. So she works now in oil-based work, of course. You can roll your oil-based inks on and go for lunch and come back and it's so good to go.
Yeah.
With water-based pigments working in Las Vegas, just whatever.
Yeah.
There's things you can do and there's stuff you can't do. And that's it. I don't know, Chihara-san's done a beautiful, beautiful job on this. Just to die for. We were showing them earlier close up. Yeah. I mean, come on, look at this delicacy on these. The colors, they just blend to zero. The purple blends into the red. The rain is just invisible, which is what I want, She's done such a beautiful job. And the gradation, just to die for. Yeah. And the delicacy of these things, These ukiyo-e colors, all of these colors, they come from, we got three basic things, a couple of a cool blue and a warm blue, dirty red and a clean red and a yellow and a black, and that's it. Everything else you see in these prints is all made from just that small palette. My God, they're such beautiful things. If I didn't have these, I would want them so badly. I made it. It's hard to believe I actually made this thing.
The lady reminds me of Shiba-san somehow.
This one?
According to Corinne got me.
I could sort of say this. This is a little bit quieter and peaceful than the Shiba-san we know here. It's okay.
Yeah.
Can I say that without being snide? She's a pretty powerful lady.
Yep.
She is a very powerful lady. So as you can tell from the stuff she gets done, the amount of work she gets done. Boy, oh boy. There's people that talk and think, and there's people that just keep producing and do things. Yeah, she's so cool. This one I'm doing here, this is not paper, this is pigment. Some of this is a batch of vermilion here, a drop of vermilion, which means it must have come when she was printing this. So this is a printer's error. She got a little blob of pigment, and I'm not sure if I can get it out here.
Random words related to journey, odyssey, quest, adventure, exploration, survey, expedition.
The thesaurus game, we've done this too, of course, so ourselves.
Yep.
We have to go through it a bit slower. Odyssey is much too much dramatic and overwhelming and overpowering. But we've done this ourselves, and
What kind of quest there, or an adventure?
well, Quest, that was on the table, because Quest actually harkens back to our work with video games, of course, stuff like that. So a quest to find these locations.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I think, was or is up on
the table.
Yeah, up on the table for consideration.
Okay. It's a pilgrimage of animation, or pilgrimage into an animator's world. Too long, I think.
Yeah, it just gets too long. It has to be short and practical too. So. Yeah, keep spitting them out. At some point, something's going to click together.
Can you still use that old carved caps block? They're asking. Use the other area for a cover block or a color block.
I'm going to use the other side. That's for sure, of course.
Okay.
So,
But not to clean away the area you've already carved and just do.
well, it might actually
area
work.
of color.
What we'll do is when I'm doing the color blocks for this print, we will look at the pieces of wood we have available. And it's quite possible.
Yeah, something might fit there.
Sure. I mean, if I'm not sure the river. I can't use it for the river. Yeah, something might fit there, of course.
Cool.
And this ends up being carved off. So when we use the backside, for sure. So this block may be
Recycled.
recycled, yes,
Yeah.
just used properly. So.
Yeah.
Or not.
Just call it not your usual quest. Recording got me. Lots and lots of ideas.
You open a little flap here. Pop out the black thing that's inside there. Oh, there it comes.
Yeah.
Tiny dab of glue, the same glue paste that we used for making the prints in the first place. Close it up. Invisible. How's our time, Cameron, Sam?
It's 9:12.
That's well, okay. And how are we going to do this? We screwed up on Monday because that block was so large. And
It was
probably- I ended up trying to talk and I couldn't tell who, what, where I was talking to.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it this time? What's the best way to do this?
I don't know.
What we've got is the block is over there, along with the print that we made from it, so we can show that over there. And then I guess I should bring the print back to the table here and pass through it
Yeah.
under the camera so people can see the actual print bit by bit. And we can talk about the message, the lettering, and what that stuff means,
Yeah.
and things like that. So maybe what we should do is, I've got this camera here. When it comes time to do the show and tell, maybe you head over there.
Okay.
I will turn the computer so I can see what's going on. I will play cameraman here while you go and stand
Point it.
with that block and stand
Okay.
beside it and blah, 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 blah. And then you unroll the print that we made from it. And then
Oh,
it's right there. It's over there on top of it. And then after we finish that, what you could do, yeah, let's do it that way. No, just when we do it, step one, you will go over there. I'll turn this camera, point at you, and we'll do it.
Yeah.
Then I will turn you give me the print, I will put it on the table, I'll bring this camera back. While
Okay.
I'm doing that, you take that camera and point it over at the block
Okay.
so that we can refer to that camera,
Yeah.
and then we'll play the video.
Okay.
Something like
Is
this.
the video already in your
The
sources?
video's in, I did it, it's already in, I put it in last night, ready to play. Don't
Alright.
click it yet, oh
Nope,
my
I'm not
God.
going to. Oh, there it is.
Is it in there? It
Yeah,
should
big
be.
print.
Yeah, big print.
That's
Imagine
exactly what it is.
imaginative name. So is that a good plan? I don't know. Who knows?
Find out.
Because I really screwed it up on Monday. I didn't know where to look, who I was talking to, what I was talking to. I stood in front of the block. I made a total mess of myself.
So turn this one.
Oh, do 9 minutes? Oh, sure, I guess so. Sure, sure.
What is that? And a little yellow spoon. And is that just what came with it? An
I
interesting
guess so.
little
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I suppose so. Okay. Enough mess here. Let's see. Do that.
That was a big batch, it looks like.
Pardon me?
She
Yeah,
did
I
a
think there's
big
80
batch.
sheets. I
Yeah.
think it's a big batch, and they're beautiful. I'm just so happy with the way she
Yeah.
worked. I hope we told her. She was here last week?
Yeah,
To
a week,
visit,
two.
I hope we told her. I think I did. Man, we just love what you're doing. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. It's so much appreciated. I think she's okay, and she's getting paid.
She's getting paid.
Well,
Yeah.
I think she's the top earner here, isn't she?
I think so.
Okay, let's clean this up, get this out of the way. Just a minute here, block out of the way, prints out of the way, zoom out. Get this paste out of the way, tissues out of the way. All right, what are we gonna do here? Pan and sand. Hang on a moment. Let me turn the camera, see what's going on here. Let's get that minified for a minute. Okay. Oh, somebody's got Solitude's prints. Good, good, good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, C6 running, and we'll roll the camera around here. Dave's going to try and play cameraman.
Oh, just ready to go.
Oops, where am I?
Let's leave it on you for now. This one, since you're you turn this way.
Okay,
So-
there is the block.
And it is big.
It is big, so
Next to you.
yeah, it's showing, Karen. So hey, if just a second, if I try and do a zoom up and down it, I can. Let me just get out of my bench. Can you angle it a little bit so that there's light on it? Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Is that showing better?
Yeah. Good.
Get the reflection.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we'll go top to bottom here. Get your paper out of the way. Yeah, good. Okay. The block. You can see the height. There's Cameron's height. It's up to his belly button or whatever.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of calligraphy at the top, which we will explain in a minute after we've seen it. And going down, we have a tree, more trees. There's a mountain there. And what we have here, here is the young man's face.
Up a little bit
There
more.
it is, yeah. And remind me, the yellow slip on top of the block there, the name. I always forget this name.
Looks like Ninomiya?
Ninomiya. So if everybody in this country knows the name of this story, is it supposed to be the young boy's name? I don't know. It's this.
Or the school he goes to? Or
Yeah,
the temple he goes
don't
to
know.
for school?
Anyway, it's a young boy. He's walking in the mountains. He has a bundle of brushwood on his back. And you'll see the picture in a minute.
Yeah.
And he is reading, as he walks, he's reading a book. There's a book in his hands.
Yeah.
So the point being, this young boy who is up to the mountains getting his family's firewood, and while he's doing so, he is studying. Cameron, can we drop the picture there in front of it?
And that would be reversed.
Here we go. Let's do this again. Here's the calligraphy, which we'll explain in a minute. And there we are. And of course, the mountain scenery. There's the boy with his brushwood and a book, the village in the background. He's coming down the mountain trail, having spent the day picking up brushwood in the mountains and studying as he does his chores. There we have it. Okay, let's bring this thing down so we can see it more closely. It's a woodblock that I got on from a Yahoo auction in 2016. We found the entry the other day. 6 blocks in gold, and the winning auction bid was 2,600 yen for 6 of these things, which is
Crazy.
insane, of course. Let me get back in my bench here. Does he walk into a bear like the guy on the cell phone? So this is, you know, he's not holding an iPad, he's actually holding a real book. So, let's zoom in there, here we go. It's very amateurly carved, actually.
Yeah, the hairs are not particularly fine.
No, none of it. No, it's very clean and very sharp work, but a little bit amateur. And my guess is it's some local production somewhere. And the print itself would have been, all I can guess, it would have been hung in school classrooms or Teragoya, a temple classroom. This is an era, and this is whatever, late Meiji, early Taisho, something like this. It could have been a juku or whatever, you know, a place where they're training kids. It could have been in a school, who knows, whatever. And it's not great art, whatever, but it is cleanly and sharply carved. And it can't have been used that much, Cameron, because all these lines are sharp, sharp, sharp to die for.
Yeah.
So this is not a worn-out block at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was printed a bunch of times, but not
Thousands
thousands of times at all. not thousands of times.
The edges still feel.
So anyway, I said we got six.
Sure.
We got 6 of these pieces of wood, and there's 3 pairs. Out of this particular image is on 2 boards with the key block on one side and 3 color blocks. So got that? So 2 pieces of wood like the one you saw just now make 4 faces. That's one image, this boy, and then 3 color blocks to go with it. Then there's another image of a crane and sunrise, 4 blocks, 4 faces, 2 blocks. And another image of a tiger. I haven't even opened that one yet.
Yeah.
4 blocks. And I say color blocks, but they're all gray. The color block, the color block on the back of this one, if you look at the edge of it, it's got a sort of a greenish tinge and tone. And I've got no idea what that is. It could be, I don't know,
We're talking about oxidized copper.
oxidized copper or something, but they wouldn't have been. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. No, we can't. Doesn't matter.
Okay, doesn't matter. That is interesting.
Then the sort of main point here. No, 2,600 yen, as in like $25. These things cost me, which is a very good
Price.
demonstration of what this stuff is worth here in Japan, of what it's valued. Nobody cares about this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now what we have, these are maxims for life, or educational rubrics, or what would you call them? Even now in school, my daughter's elementary school, when I was there 30 years ago, going for the home and school classes, it's up there. I forget the ones at my daughter's school. There was 10 of them or something. Play nicely together. Nakayoku asonde. Nakayoku asomimashou.
Yeah.
Play nicely together. Don't steal stuff, whatever.
It's the attitude.
Whatever. All societies do this, and Japan does it. And these are the ones that were common back in this era. And there's a bunch of kanji I don't know here. And even
I don't remember what they all were.
Even what about a normal, educated, slightly elderly lady could not read all these things. That's how much the kanji of this changed. But this is what we can get.
Mumble.
No, we get the idea. So. I know your father and mother, something. It's heaven and hell.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure about that. They're so. Yeah.
Tenchi was like heaven and then earth.
Earth, the show.
So, I think
up there
your parents
and down
are from heaven and earth. I think,
but it doesn't make any sense.
Life comes from
life. But what is it trying to say? What's the meaning you're trying to say? Your parents are the source of everything or something? I don't quite get what the message is on that one. Some of them are easy. There's one here, for example. I don't know. This one. This year's resources, food and stuff, comes from last year's efforts. And then next year's food and resources comes from the work you are doing right now. So the benefits you're enjoying right now came from your predecessors. You get to work and make sure you make stuff for the people coming in down the line. And this is what this is. This is rice fields, mountains, forestry, blah blah. The people of the country have created and maintained these. So the things that we have around us, our social structure, comes from the work and efforts of all the people.
You're having a long life. It's like
So
you have or something.
To make it longer, to extend to having a good long extended life.
The 3 things. What was it?
This
is
is
an
food
for drinking or something. I think it was what you drink, eat, and live, or something.
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's definitely eating is in there. So then there's the 3. I don't know, Kevin. I don't know.
The last one is sumu, I think, like to live. So where you live, what you eat, and a 3rd thing.
Something
Anyone
else.
want to help us?
Those 3. That's the basis of having a good, long, and healthy life. So I'm sort of being not clear on how to read all these things. This is archaic structured language, and as I said, even the totally well-educated young Japanese ladies in the shop here were not able to translate all of these for me, or put. Some of this one to show. I think this is a sarcastic comment. It's father and mother, and then it's heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Your father comes. Somebody's making comments about this, whatever.
Oh, good.
The repeating symbols. This is the grammar. Ni, ari. Existence. A be. We have to be. Whatever.
Yeah.
If these would be in English, how can I do a rough translation? Or
there's always a wa. There's this thing.
Yes, this is the subject marker. The lettering of. This is a. Possessive.
Oh.
This thing possesses this. That's the subject of the next thing, and this is the verb. Ari is existence. To be. So set the subject, what it is, or embossing. That's just the way Japanese language works. The verb is always at the end, and in a formal structure like this, it's de ari or ni ari or something. It's old-fashioned. Absolutely, it's old-fashioned.
Definitely.
But even as I said, on my kids' elementary school wall, it was structured pretty much the same way as this.
Yeah.
A bit different now. They put at the top of each one. They put ichi. The show, Cameron?
Oh yeah.
Ichi.
A lot.
Ichi. Number one.
But they're all number one.
And they're all number one.
Yeah.
It's
I think you're like hitotsu.
Is it they're trying to show that none of these things are more important than any other things? Is that the idea by putting number one, or is it just a mark? Here we go.
Like,
do something. Here we go. Do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. No idea. And they read top to bottom, of course, right to left. So this was the number one, first important one. They read top to bottom, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And this is completely common stuff. It's a common type of thing that has existed in Japan. I don't know, when I went to school on the wall of our school gymnasium, there was nothing like this.
Yeah.
But there are school mottos, right?
Yeah.
Each school might have a motto, working together, fighting together, or something like this or whatever. But here in this culture, this is really quite structured. You know? Every educational environment, even in a university, I think, has this sort of thing on the wall, you know?
Yeah.
Lei-chan, have you seen her desk? Lei-chan, the young girl printing upstairs for us, she's from China, and on her desk, at least rotate, she's written her own maxims, and she's written just like this, in a vertical form like this, and it'll be something like, pay attention to what David said about how many seconds you spend on each one.
Yeah.
And so if I've just said something casually to her, she's okay, I go away, and she converts it into this kind of a maxim, writes it out, and sticks it on her workbench. And I don't say this in any kind of sarcastic way. This is cool. This is cool. She's trying to grok what's happening here and trying to learn, you know. And whether students in this era would sit there and look up at the wall and say, okay, I will work hard. Next year's harvest depends on my hard work. Or did they just say, whatever? Yeah. I don't know. That's a really interesting question. You know? For us, it's sort of give me a break. Quit moralizing to me. Because that's the era we live in. But in an era when moralizing was the thing that they built a culture from. Yeah. Remember, this was the transition from a feudal culture to a general culture where they all felt they were part of a country. Yeah. Instead of being just a feudal village and family you were in, you know. Yeah. And the people who built the education system and were trying to set this up, they were really trying to do that. They were trying to build a national culture. You know? And I think they pretty well did. You know? Yeah. Really pretty well did. So. Dave Bull's Maxims calendar. So I'll publish this thing. Yeah. What's the last column? It's different from the others. No, if you're looking at the last column, I'm not. Oh, no, the last
because it doesn't have a wa.
No, it doesn't.
So it's Toshi Sai or something like that.
This is. I'm not sure about this, and this is why I blah 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 because I really don't know. It's year by year. Toshi. This is age at any age.
So year by year.
I'm Rokuju Hasai. I am 68. Sai is the character choose. Yeah. So I think what they're talking about is, year by year, over different years, different ages. Sai, the young people, the old people. I'm just guessing here. I don't know. And I don't know how to pronounce it. It wouldn't be Nin Sai, the show.
Yeah, I think she read it as like Toshi Doshi and Sai maybe or something like that.
Okay. But then also, having said that, I don't know the other parts of it. I'm sorry.
Dube karasu means you should not do something in old Japanese.
I'm really sorry.
But what is the something?
We haven't had the chance to study this and work it out. We just quickly blabbed it, and here it is. But yeah, I think this is a general overarching whatever. All through all the years of time, all through all the ages of your, all the people in society of different ages have to do something or not do something, whatever. Yeah. Sorry, this is silly about this, so. And yes, of course, they build this in a very structured way so that they all line up. And a couple of them, where are we? We've got, these are a pair of characters with a possessive and a pair of characters, but one here is just the 4 characters. So they've stretched that out. It's kerning. These are carefully kerned so that it fits within the line. Of course, Photoshop they didn't have, Illustrator they didn't have, but, a guy with the brush would do that. Yeah. Anyway, there we have it. And what's the guy hauling? It's brushwood for the family fire, for the family bath, or for the family stove, of course. Yep. The village like this there's no electricity. This is a pre-industrial era. And they're hauling firewood. Yeah. And this will go into the kitchen for the cooking the food or over to the bath. Absolutely. And a village like this would be extremely structured. Family A, that you own that part of that mountain, or you can use that part of that mountain. Family B, or Group A or Group B, that's your area.
Yeah.
And if you pick too much from one place, there ain't going to be any there tomorrow.
Yep.
And if you pick too many mushrooms from that place, you're going to kill them all. These resources were absolutely very rigorously structured and owned and rights. This kid didn't just wander up into the mountain. He knew where he was going on any given day or week, where he was allowed to go, and where he should have picked the stuff. These resources were very rigorously, and still are, absolutely rigorously controlled. The Gampi paper that we're using, the people who pick Gampi, it's growing up in the mountain wild, and there's no way they can just have, oh, here's a nice batch, let's take it all.
Yeah.
No way. This has been structured for hundreds of years. Which workshop owns or has the rights to pick that
Which
Gampi,
Gampi,
which stream feeds which rice paddy, how much water you can take. Believe me, the Japanese I've had this locked up.
Yeah.
When we first came to Japan, we spent the summer up in her father's farm up at the top. And we're like cleaning brush out of some of the waterways. And people down in the village saw bunches of leaves and stuff coming down. Somebody is up there mucking around with the irrigation system. And a team of guys came up. What is going on? And we were cleaning up. It was, oh, hey, good, thank you. Thanks
Thank you for
this.
cleaning it.
But they had seen.
They thought maybe someone was redirecting
they had seen
the water.
Exactly. And that was red lights. I mean, it didn't go, alarms didn't go off. Somebody saw leaves and brush and dirt in the irrigation water.
Yeah.
And it set off alarm number one. And it took an hour. We were an hour from the village, and 3 guys came up. An hour's walk to find out what was going on. And maybe also, actually, there'd been a report. We get off the bus, and out there, somebody may have seen
A bunch of foreigners, and now there's...
Not foreigners, me and my
oh, yeah,
kids.
that's right. Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is, it was for them, it was number one priority. That irrigation system that fed their rice fields. Oops, find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So. I like this too. Somebody noticed that. He's got knee patches.
Yep.
This is Dave growing up. I don't see that anymore. All my life, my mother's probably here. This is not an insult to my mother. All my life I had knee patches on my pants, of course. But was it it's closer to expensive or just common sense? You put a patch on and away you go. You know, it wasn't a symbol of a poor family.
Yeah.
It was just normal life for us in North America at that time. You have no such memory?
No, if I broke a hole, then I would get a patch, but not
we had
preemptively.
patches, not like I grew up as a poor person with patch clothes. Just it was normal for boys of 8 and 10 years old in the Canadian prairies to have knee patches. You know. Shiba-san, ちょっと手伝ってください. It's a good chance. She can help us with this last one.
What's the last?
This last one here.
Oh, yes.
She can help us with this.
She does know old Japanese.
And she can fake it if she can't. See? Also, did you notice what's happening here? We had
Is it growing again?
We had the one big patch, and look at this at the bottom now. Do you see? It's everywhere. It is coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Did you see this? その大きい半旗ですね。先日、わらばいさんと一緒に吸ったんですね。それからこの西宮、二宮でしょ。二宮。そう。大体わかりますが、この中にちょっとこの最後のものはちょっと意味わからないですけど、渋谷さんちょっとわかりますか？
年々歳々報徳を忘るべからず、いつももう一年中今日やったことは明日につなげていいことにしましょう。
だから年々毎年
歳々年っていうことはその年
若い人も年の人も
その1年1日のことも1時間のことも1秒のこともその一瞬のことも全部報徳っていうのはその良いこと、人に対して自分に対して世間に対していいことを忘れないようにしましょうね。
そうか。Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Did you understand that? Her point is, again, every year, every minute of the year, at every stage of everything, all the years, all the times.
Yeah.
報徳、blah blah blah.
She said just like
do good stuff. It's the be good, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So it's the Japanese version of the golden rule. I think Cameron's the easiest way to explain it.
Dictionary called it moral requital.
Moral requital.
That's what it said.
Okay. Think good stuff and do good stuff and be a good boy and be a good person. So. 多分一番簡単な翻訳はキャメロンのキリスト生活の中にthey have an expression, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. というのは、で私が渋さんに日本語でだから僕から渋さんもし渋さんから私へ同じことだけど僕悪いことやるとやっぱり僕に悪いことあんまり良くないですから、じゃあそのこと考え渋さんが私に優しいですから、じゃあ私も渋さんに優しい、じゃあみんな優しさが回ると一番大事だけど、こちらからもそのもの考えてください。ごめん、ちょっと説明しにくいですね。We're stretching the limits of my Japanese words that I don't use in my daily life.
黎明ってどういう意味ですか？
天地黎明、母の子には天地黎明、霊、従う命、天地大地すべてのその命のもとにあるよ。おはようございます。命のもとにあるよっていうことだと思います。
じゃあ、if I get that right, what she's saying about this one, your father and your mother, they are actually the root of everything that we see and enjoy here, up on heaven and on earth. The existence of things that are around us
come from
your father and your mother. I think this may be, perhaps, I'm just guessing, not literally your own daddy and your mommy, but our predecessors, our ancestors, is the kind of feeling I'm getting from this. That 自分のお父さんお母さんだけじゃなくて、前の人たち。
Sounds a little confusing.
So ancestors, so everybody that's been here before us. So they are the people who are the ones who have created everything that we see around us today. It's sort of the same thing we had here. ですね、今年のものは去年。そう。The things we are enjoying this year came from the work of the people last year, but not just last year, but the people before us. And the work that we now do is for the
next year and the future.
The work that we are now doing this one. So. Anyway, good fun. As we said on Monday, we will not be planing this block off. We're going to be keeping it here. And I guess if there's interest in having this printed in the shop, is somebody going to want to buy this and hang it up in their school classroom? I don't know, whatever. We'll put it on a list of things to do. We will actually print this maybe and have it read. Or maybe next time we've got a contest or something, we can print it and people would want this in their own home or something. Right, for those of you who are parents, you can hang it on the wall and your kids will now obey.
We just said the same word.
Okay, Cameron, let's get out of here.
Bother with the video or not?
Oh, the video, of course, I forgot. Ow. Okay, sorry about that. I had big mouth here just doesn't stop. Okay, we have a video.
It's only a minute long.
Yeah, it's a minute long, and this is not a curated, beautiful YouTube video.
No.
Monday evening, when Wadabashi-san and I were trying to do this, of course we would include the translation. Okay, here we go. Let me pop this up. Here we go. On we go. The video is silent, unfortunately, but there's Wadabashi-san was finished inking. David is now putting the paper onto the block.
I had trouble with autofocus.
So here we go. And we have two lefties here. Wadabashi-san is taking the top
Good to go? Up she comes.
Here comes.
Oh, no time. Let's go.
But no, you guys are just moving.
All right, we got to pull.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yay.
I recommend we get a picture.
Here. No, get this one.
There we
But
go.
with all the bottom camera.
Oh, well, we'll get it in a second.
okay.
Here's. Wait,
That was it.
Oh,
That was it.
Oh, I thought I added a second picture at the end. Sorry about that.
That's all I saw last night.
Okay.
The paper is dry. We printed that on dry paper. There was no way to work
Weird.
with a moisture box, and we were just quick and casually blowing it off to see what we could see. If we were printing this properly for sale on the shop or something, yes, we'd get a moist box. I made one for the scroll.
Yeah.
We would carefully moisten the paper, and then get the block very warmed up, and then bang, we would print it off. This was just a quick rough and ready, just get it up.
Yeah.
Oh, the video wasn't silent, so what did you say? Soka. So our voices then, when we were playing that video, then you heard the video sound but didn't hear our
banter.
No idea.
The video got cut short. There's a second one.
Okay. All right. No, I didn't see that.
Okay, weird.
Anyway, there we go. Okay, we have got to get out of here, guys. If you remind me, the video will be here, so maybe next time we have a stream, we can play it again and see what's on.
I could throw it on Facebook if you want.
So if they didn't hear us, yeah, maybe that's
Yeah.
a good idea. Okay.
Do that.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I got to get out of here. We have tons of work to do. Girls are here for the party, so I'm out. Okay, thanks so much, guys. See you on
Next
the
time,
weekend,
Saturday.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for now.